On this episode of the Fabulous Forum Factor, I have a proposal for you, ladies and gentlemen. A proposal of epic proportion. And no, you're not watching Enter the Dragon. This is a proposal of epic proportion that will actually separate us even further, that is. Why would we want further separation, and why is it just maybe the thing for all of us? I'll have all that and more coming up on the Fabulous Form Factor next.
Want to hear something fabulous? Broadcast in a forum and full of facts? Well, you've come to the right place. It's the Fabulous Forum Factor podcast with all its pizzazz. And now here's your host, Mr. Kenneth Moultrie.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to this episode of the Fabulous Forum Factor. And I am your host, Kenneth Moultrie. And before I begin today, I want to kindly ask that you hit that subscribe button, that like button, leave your comments, and most importantly, share this or any episode I produce of the Fabulous Form Factor with your social media family. So what I want to talk about today is just something that I've been thinking through these last year or two or three about just how different and separate we are in this country of the United States, how we are so divided. We're mainly divided by social beliefs and political beliefs. Now, let me say this. Whether you believe it or not, folks, you are who you are. You are of a social being and you are of a political being. Now, you may not want to classify yourself as liberal, conservative, Democratic, or Republican, but like I said, whether you like it or not, you are one of those. Okay, so therefore, that's how you think, that's how you believe, and that's how you vote. But that's not necessarily only how you are, because I tell people this all the time. It's not just how you vote, it's who you are. So I began to think that we are so different. And myself, I can tell you this. I am a Black American, ladies and gentlemen. However, I identify myself more with Americans or who live in this country who are of my social and political belief, regardless of race or gender or area of the United States that we grew up in or what sports teams that we like or follow. So let me say that again. I am more identifiable by someone who believes the same as I do when it comes to social issues and political issues. So I was thinking that just what if down the line that we were separated by living areas in this country, let's just say by the states we live in. So in other words, we have 50 states, 51 states if you want to count Puerto Rico, but we have 48 continental United states, and we have Alaska and Hawaii. So let's just split them up, 25 states apiece. So let's just say if you believe that you're liberal and that you believe that you're Democratic, then that you would get whatever. It doesn't matter. You could just get one half of the states. You can take Washington, Oregon, California, Nevada, Utah, Idaho, Wyoming, Montana, Colorado, Arizona, New Mexico, Oklahoma, Kansas, Nebraska, North and South Dakota, and Texas. You can even have Minnesota, Iowa, Missouri, Arkansas, and Louisiana. And then you split and you give the other party Wisconsin, Illinois, Mississippi, Indiana, Kentucky, Ohio, Tennessee, Alabama, Georgia, Florida, South Carolina, North Carolina, Virginia, West Virginia, Pennsylvania, New York. You get what I'm talking about: Maine, Massachusetts, Rhode Island, Connecticut, Delaware, New Jersey, Maryland, and North Carolina and South Carolina, if I did not say them already. So what I'm saying is that if we are so divided in our beliefs, how about we just separate by states? One side of the political spectrum and the social belief spectrum can have one side of the United States, and the other half can have the other side of the United States. How do you think that would work out? I think that would work out very fine for the party that I believe in and that the lifestyle that I believe in, which is the conservative Republican side. Now, let me go over this kind of like in a nutshell to my audience and you out there, because this is what I truly believe. Ladies and gentlemen, like I said, you are what you are. You are what you believe. And I don't care what or how you are registered down at your local city hall. You are of the mindset of you are either a socialist, you are either a believer of capitalism, you are a believer of personal responsibility and all the characteristics that go with what you believe. It's just something that how you're wired. Now, you can be wired, ladies and gentlemen, one way when you're younger, and then you can get older and be reconfigured and wired another way. I say this all the time. Black Americans are the most conservative people, party, race there is. Some kind of way, Black Americans have been conditioned to believe that conservatism is not the way of their people and their heritage and their culture, because conservatism means traditionalism. And you cannot sit there and tell me or convince me that the Black American family is not traditional, right? We believe in all the traditional values when it comes to dating, when it comes to meeting the parents, when it comes to saving money for a rainy day, creating a nest egg, watch your back, do not tell all your business. All of these things are traditional. They're traditional conservative measures that have been in the Black community for all these years. And I know for a fact that is how Black Americans roll. Somewhere along the line, it has been twisted and misconstrued that the conservative values have been instilled only upon Republicans, white Americans, white nationalists, whatever that means. I still don't know what that means. Okay, a white nationalist. I'm a Black nationalist because I believe in the United States of America, and I love the United States of America. I served my country for 11 years in the United States Armed Forces. So I am a Black nationalist. So if you are a white nationalist and you have lived the same kind of lifestyle I've lived, and you happen to be of Anglo skin color or tone, then if you are a white nationalist, then more power to you. So I don't know where this term came from. It's some kind of liberal term that's been created to try to make it seem like white people are the biggest detriment to Black Americans and their success. So as conservatives, which is normally attributed with the Republican Party. Now, once again, I believe with all my heart that Black Americans are the most conservative race in this country. So I just want to backtrack and say that. But conservatively speaking, we believe in personal responsibility. That is one of the main cogwheels of conservatism and the Republican Party. Now, you cannot tell me that Black Americans don't think that way too, especially older Black Americans. But as I've said so many times on my broadcasts, on my episodes, that the younger you are, the more frivolous you are. Frivolous is a synonym for liberalism. You're just frivolous when you're young. You're not thinking for a rainy day. You are just out at 4 o'clock in the morning, never thinking about what you have to do and go to work 5 hours later, never thinking what you have to spend that money you just spent the night before for a bill that needs to be paid in the next 2 or 3 days. When you are young, you are supposed to be, or you are more conditioned to be liberal. Not politically speaking, but liberal with your lifestyle, with your funny, wild ways. Conservative means you think things through. That's what it means. I haven't even got into the political aspect of it, ladies and gentlemen, but if you want to go there for a second, conservatism is like when something happens in the social world, you kind of sit back and go, now, wait a minute. Why did this happen? It must have been a reason why this ended up this way. Was it because, he shot this person first, or that he started the fight, or for some reason that he break into the house and got shot? It's not just because it ended up dead or he ended up shot. It had to be a cause to have the effect. You see what I'm saying? You see what I'm going with this at? So therefore, there's all kind of different philosophies between the two parties. And like I said, there was a time that I was frivolous with my decisions and my life overall. But as I got older, as I got smarter, as I got more better looking, right, I became a little more, I think things through. I became more conservative. So guess what? That's how I think with social issues, ladies and gentlemen. That's how I think with political issues, right? I don't think that education should be free. You know what? I paid my dues when I went to college. When I graduated from San Jose State, I went into debt. I did what I had to do. I worked 2 jobs. I paid back little and little at a time. I got phone calls. I called back and say, let me pay this amount. Let me pay that amount. And I knew what I had to do because obviously I did not grow up with a silver spoon in my mouth. So therefore, I know that if free education is granted some kind of way, I'm thinking to myself, what is the backlash behind the free education? How are the instructors? How are the professors? How are the janitorial staff? How are the remaining staff of colleges and universities going to get paid? What end game is it for them if there is not an infiltration of funds and money going into the university and college system? So I don't think that's feasible at all. You know why? Because I sat back and thought this thing through. When I was younger and I wanted to rely more on the government and rely more on help, I just said, well, you know what? I don't care how it's done as long as it's cheap and free to me. So young liberal people, just as an example, you've heard they are against a lot of traditional policies. They are against traditional laws. They are against police and authority because they feel as though it's all predicated on white supremacy, and that is what's gotten this United States of America in the predicament and the reputation that they have for being racist and some kind of overthrown government.